Now, our UK correspondent Jonathan Sacerdoti has been reporting live from the scene for us since the story broke. He joins us now via Skype. Jonathan, authorities are calling these latest arrests significant. What more can you tell us?
Yeah, there's 2 extra arrests overnight labelled as significant. That's interesting because the others, whilst they were obviously important, weren't labelled that way by the police. So perhaps they're closing in on finding out just what was happening. And you heard that appeal there from the police as well. They're asking people who knew anything about the suspect, about the attacker, who knew him as a friend or who knew anything about his movements in the last few days to get in touch with him so that they can work out more and make a better picture of exactly who he is and how he carried out this attack. It seems they haven't ruled out the idea that this could have been something coordinated with help from outside, perhaps even from ISIS, with assistance or even instruction coming from above or from a network. Though initially Theresa May had said that he was acting on his own as a sort of solitary terrorist, there now seems to be that suggestion that they are opening this up to the other possibility.
Certainly. Now, what more can you tell us about Khalid Masood? We know he had been investigated in the past for violent extremism. Do you have any more details on this?
Absolutely. Khalid Masood, also sometimes going by the name Khalid Chowdhury, was born Adrian Russell, his mother's maiden name Russell, and then he changed his name to his stepfather's, which was Adrian Adjo at some point. He's 52 years old, which is not typical for this kind of attacker. They're usually somewhat younger, perhaps under 30, between 18 and 30. He has previous convictions, though none of them for terror-related acts, but some for knife attacks, and he did spend time in prison. Some are speculating, because there is a problem in British prisons of people being influenced by extremist Islam, that may be where he himself became an Islamist, an extremist, with the ability to carry out this sort of attack in the name of an extreme version of the Muslim religion. That is all speculation at the moment, and something that the police will be trying to figure out as well. He's known to have been a bodybuilder, hence his stature is quite a big guy. He managed to overpower that policeman and stab him. And he was indeed actually shot, not by a regular armed policeman, but by a close protection officer of the defence minister, which is also creating questions from people about how well the armed police could deal with this if it weren't for that kind of presence there just by chance.
And on that topic of security, Jonathan, the threat level in Britain remains at severe. Are we seeing an obvious increase in police presence on the streets, or even more scrupulous checks at airports? Are people feeling safe or unsafe on the streets of London?
There is an increase in policing that's been announced by the Prime Minister and the police themselves, armed and unarmed police around the country, not because there's any specific threats. Were there a specific threat known, the terror alert would have gone up to critical, not to severe. That said, many people don't want to overreact. This wasn't a Bataclan-style attack. There weren't dozens of injuries, or rather deaths. There were injuries in the way that we saw in those other European attacks. It was a smaller scale attack. Of course, that doesn't make it any less tragic, the loss of life and the injury, but Britain didn't get the same sort of attack as Brussels and as Paris did in recent months and years, and people don't want to see, in many ways, extreme policing unnecessarily simply provoked by the acts of one man. What remains to be seen is if he was acting alone, or if he's part of a network, there could be bigger threats to come and bigger attacks. Theresa May, of course, saying that around 12 attacks have been foiled that we simply don't know about because they never happened. If that's the case, the British intelligence services and police are doing their job well, and this one attack, albeit serious, being so small compared to some of the other European ones, could in fact be a testament to the fact that they are able to stop the larger, more spectacular kind of attacks taking place elsewhere in Europe.
Certainly, Jonathan Sacerdoti, thank you as always for that insight.